What if I told you that you could pause your Social Security checks and potentially come out ahead for doing it? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. In the next few minutes, we're going to explain why hitting the off switch on your Social Security after you've started might be a smart move for some retirees. Stick around and learn how it's even possible. Yes, Social Security lets you do this, and 3 big reasons it could benefit you. We'll also cover the risks and the rules you need to know straight from Social Security and IRS guidelines. Let's dive in. Can you really turn off Social Security after you started? Yes, under certain conditions. You can stop your Social Security benefits even after you started them. The Social Security Administration, NSSA, provides 2 main ways to do this: withdrawing your application, essentially undoing your claim, or voluntarily suspending your benefits, temporarily pausing payments. Let's break down both clearly. Withdrawal of your application. Call this the do-over. If you recently started your retirement benefits and have had second thoughts, you may be able to withdraw your Social Security application. This option is only available within the first 12 months when you first became entitled to benefits, and you can only do it once in your lifetime. With a withdrawal, you're basically telling SSA, let's pretend I never started taking benefits. But there's a catch. You must repay all the benefits you received so far if your withdrawal is approved. That includes any money you or your family members got on your record, and even any amounts withheld for Medicare premiums or taxes during that time. Yes, it all has to be paid back. But once that's done, your Social Security record is reset as if you never claimed, and you're free to reapply at a later date for a higher benefit. Voluntary suspension. What if it's been more than 12 months since you started your benefits, or you don't want to repay the past benefits? There's another route you can go. Once you've reached your full retirement age, which is around 66, 67 for most retirees now, you can ask Social Security to suspend your retirement benefit payments. In plain language, you pause your monthly checks. Why would anybody do that? Because while your benefits are suspended, you earn delayed retirement credits for each month without a payment. These credits boost your benefit, roughly by 2/3 of 1% for each month you delay, which equals about 8% increase per year beyond your full retirement age. That means when you resume your Social Security later, your checks will be bigger. You can voluntarily suspend any time between your full retirement age and age 70. No repayments are required to suspend. You simply stop receiving checks going forward. Your benefits will automatically restart at age 70 if you don't unsuspend them earlier. And don't worry, you can change your mind and resume benefits earlier if needed by simply contacting SSA to restart your payments. Voluntary suspension can't begin until you hit full retirement age though. For example, let's say you're 64 and regret claiming early. You have to wait until your full retirement age to officially suspend benefits, or consider the withdrawal option if you're within that 12-month window. Also, under current law, when you suspend your own benefit, anyone receiving benefits on your work record will have their payments suspended too during that period. For example, if your spouse is getting a spousal benefit based on your work record, or a child is getting dependent benefits, those checks stop while your benefit is paused. One exception: a divorced spouse collecting on your record can continue receiving their benefit even if you suspend yours. Finally, keep in mind, you cannot earn delayed credits past age 70. There's no advantage to suspending beyond your 70th birthday, as Social Security benefits stop accruing increases after age 70. 3 big benefits for suspending or withdrawing your Social Security. Why would anyone give up months or even a year or more of payments? There are 3 well-reasoned benefits of turning off your Social Security after you've started. Let's talk about each one along with some context. First and foremost, larger monthly checks for life. The primary incentive to pause benefits is to ultimately receive bigger Social Security checks down the road. By suspending payments after full retirement age, you rack up those delayed retirement credits, about an 8% boost for each year of suspension. This can substantially increase your permanent monthly benefit going forward. For example, if your benefit at your full retirement age, let's say 67, would have been $1,500 a month, delaying collection until age 70 boosts it to $1,860 a month for life. And that's before any cost of living adjustments. That's about a 24% increase. Even if you had claimed early and locked in lower amounts, suspending at full retirement age lets you recoup some of that reduction. In short, pausing now can mean more income later, which is especially valuable if you anticipate living into your 80s or your 90s. It's like getting a higher pension. Every month for the rest of your life, you'd get a fatter check than if you hadn't delayed. This can provide greater financial security in your later years when other savings might be running down. Think of it as investing your Social Security by not taking it for a while. The payoff is higher payout later. Flexibility. Life doesn't always go as planned. You might retire and start Social Security, then decide to go back to work, or realize that you don't actually need the income right now. Turning off your benefits can give you a valuable do-over in such cases. For instance, if you claim benefits early and then return to a good-paying job, continuing to take Social Security could cost you. The annual earnings test will withhold part of your benefits once your wages exceed certain limits. Additionally, pausing benefits may help optimize your tax situation. Social Security benefits are taxable depending upon your income. Up to 85% of your benefits can be counted as taxable income if you have substantial other income. If you went back to work or have other retirement income, taking a break from Social Security could keep you in a lower tax bracket or reduce the portion of benefits that are taxed. In the meantime, you might draw from other resources, savings, investments, etc., if that makes financial sense, and then restart Social Security later when the other income drops. In the meantime, you might draw from other resources, savings, investments, pensions, etc., if that makes financial sense, and then restart Social Security later when your other income drops, potentially keeping you more of your benefit. For example, Jane retired at 62 and started Social Security, but a year later, she found a part-time job, consulting. Her higher income not only pushed her Social Security into taxable range, but also triggered some benefits to be withheld due to her earnings. Jane opted to withdraw her Social Security application after 10 months, paid back the benefits, and stopped her checks. This allowed her to work penalty-free and reduced her tax burden for now. She plans to reapply at age 66, call that her full retirement age, when she fully retires. So she'll get a larger monthly benefit going forward, with no earning penalties to worry about. Note, if you do withdraw and repay benefits, you aren't left high and dry for taxes you already paid for those benefits. The IRS lets you claim a deduction or a credit for repaid Social Security benefits in certain cases. In plain terms, if you had paid income tax on your Social Security last year, but then paid those benefits back to the NSSA, you can get a tax break for that repayment. Always consult a tax professional in this scenario, but rest assured, the tax code accounts for benefit repayments, so you're not taxed on money you ultimately gave back. Another reason, you can maximize survivor benefits for your spouse. If you're married, pausing your benefit can be a gift to your surviving spouse. Here's why. The survivor benefit for a widow or widower is generally based on the amount the deceased worker was receiving or was entitled to receive at the time of death. So if you're the higher earning spouse and you delay or suspend your benefits to let them grow, you're not just boosting your own monthly check. You're potentially boosting what your spouse would receive as a widow or widower. By delaying Social Security, the higher earner increases the future survivor benefit available to the spouse. In fact, one financial columnist notes that if a higher earning husband delayed his benefit and earned, say, 2.5 years of delayed retirement credits, his wife's survivor benefit could be about 20% larger than if he would have claimed it earlier. And if he waits until 70, earning a full 4 years of credits, the survivor benefit for his wife would include all those 8% per year increases in his benefit amount. That can make a major difference in the surviving spouse's financial comfort. For example, John started Social Security at 62, but realized he was shortchanging the future survivor benefit for his wife, Mary, given his lower amount. So at 66, his full retirement age, John suspended his benefits. By the time he resumes at 70, his monthly payment will be much higher. If John passes away after that, Mary can step into a significantly larger survivor check for the rest of her life. Whereas if John had kept his original age 62 amount, her survivor benefit would have been permanently much smaller. This strategy is often recommended for the higher earning spouse in a couple. It's like an insurance policy to ensure the surviving spouse isn't left with a reduced Social Security income in later life. By the way, no one likes talking about these things. I understand that, but it's important consideration for couples. Now, there are some potential drawbacks, call them considerations. It isn't always rainbows and roses. There are important consequences and risks to weigh before deciding to suspend or withdraw your Social Security. Number one, probably most obvious. The most obvious drawback is that once you turn off your benefits, those monthly checks stop. You'll need to have other income, again, savings, pensions, part-time work, etc., to cover these expenses while your Social Security is paused. If you withdraw your application, you have to repay all those benefits that you've received. That can be a hefty financial hit up front. Make sure you can truly afford to forego these benefits now in exchange for future gains. Also keep in mind, the withdrawal option with repayment is only available within the first 12 months of starting benefits, and you can only do it once ever. If it's been over a year since you filed, that ship has sailed. You can't undo your application after 12 months. Your remaining option will be to wait until your full retirement age and then suspend. And remember, suspension can only begin at full retirement age or later. Let's face it, if you do a full withdrawal, the requirement to pay back everything you've received can be logistically challenging. You'll need to contact SSA, fill out a form SSA 521, the withdrawal request, and come up with the funds to repay your gross benefits. This includes any money that was withheld for taxes or Medicare. SSA requires repayment of the gross amount. For example, if your monthly check was $1,000, but $100 was withheld for tax, you got $900 in hand, yet you must pay back the full $1,000. You would later reconcile that on your tax return to get credit for taxes paid. All of this is doable, but it's paperwork and upfront cash that many retirees find cumbersome. It's not just a simple flip of the switch, administratively speaking. There's a break-even point with these strategies. Also, you need longevity to benefit. The strategy of giving up your benefits now for larger benefits later only pays off if you live long enough to reap the rewards. In other words, there's a break-even age. If you suspend or delay, then unfortunately pass away sooner than expected, you might receive less total money from Social Security than if you would have continued with your smaller checks. Generally, if you live into your early to mid-80s or beyond, the higher monthly payments catch you up and then some. If not, you gave up money you never get back. So your health and family history are factors to consider. No one can predict their lifespan, but it's part of the decision. Delaying benefits is a bit of a long-term bet on living longer. Make sure that bet aligns with your personal situation. We mentioned the upside for survivor benefit, but there's a short-term downside for spousal and dependent benefits. If you have a spouse or children currently receiving Social Security based on your work record, they will stop getting those benefits during the suspension period. For example, if your wife is getting a $500 spousal benefit each month from your record and you suspend your own benefit, her $500 spousal checks will also pause for that duration. This could be a deal breaker if your family can't do without that income. Note, this does not apply to a divorced ex-spouse on your record. An ex-spouse's benefit is not affected by your suspension. Make sure to coordinate with your family and understand how your decision will ripple through everyone's benefits. Suspending might not be wise if it means losing needed income for your spouse or kids in the interim. If you're on Medicare and your Part B premiums are normally deducted from your Social Security payments, suspending benefits means those premiums will no longer be automatically taken out. Instead, you'll get billed for Medicare Part B and D if applicable. The SSA explicitly warns that if you suspend benefits, you'll be billed for future Part B premiums, and you must pay them timely to avoid losing coverage. So be prepared to pay your Medicare premiums out of pocket each month or quarter while your Social Security is stopped. Missing those bills could lead to a lapse in your Medicare, which you definitely want to avoid. In short, pausing Social Security, you must budget for Medicare premiums separately. By the way, there's no more free spousal strategies. We've been asked about this often. In the past, some people used to file and suspend strategically, so their spouse could claim a spousal benefit while their own benefit grew via those delayed retirement credits. Those days are over. Current law says that if you suspend your benefits, all benefits payable on your record are suspended for that period. So you can't, for example, collect a spousal benefit off your partner while your own benefit is suspended to grow. Nor can your spouse collect on you while you're suspended. The rules have all closed those loopholes, which is why the main reasons to suspend now are the ones we've discussed. Not to enable a spouse's benefit, but to increase your own future benefit as a survivor benefit. The rules have closed those loopholes, which is why the main reasons to suspend now are the ones we discussed. So in conclusion, turning off your Social Security after you've started is a big decision. It's not for everyone, but it can be a powerful tool in the right circumstances. We've seen that, yes, it is possible to do through either a one-time withdrawal with payback or a voluntary suspension at full retirement age. The upsides include larger monthly checks later, thanks to the roughly 8% per year delayed retirement credits, flexibility if your retirement plans change, and even a safety net for your spouse in the form of a higher survivor benefits. The downsides include giving up some income now, navigating repayment rules, potential tax and Medicare implications, and the risk of not living long enough to benefit from the increase. Ultimately, the question to ask is, does pausing my Social Security now improve my overall retirement security? Depends on your situation, your financial resources, health outlook, marital status, tax situation, and other factors. It's crucial to consult with a financial planner or the NSSA directly if you're considering these moves. The Social Security Administration can provide personalized guidance, but they cannot provide advice. But they can confirm how the rules would apply to you. Feel free to give them a call at 1-800-772-1213 or visit our local office. Also, feel free to check out the official SSA.gov website for references on withdrawing an application or suspending benefits to make sure you follow the proper procedure and understand the implications. You do have options to correct course if you started Social Security and regret it or your circumstances have changed. Suspending or withdrawing benefits can, in the right scenario, mean more financial freedom later on. But it's a decision with many, many moving parts. Rules, deadlines, trade-offs. So arm yourself with knowledge and maybe professional advice. Always ensure any strategy is in line with SSA regulations and IRS rules, as we've cited here, so you stay on solid legal and financial ground. Thank you for watching. If you found this information helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with others who might be wondering about Social Security do-overs. Remember, retirement planning is not one size fits all. If you'd like some assistance, feel free to call our office. Our phone number is in the description below. In the meantime, stay informed, plan smart, and here's to making the best decision for your retirement. Take care.